rock that
Okay, so no surprise because this is the title of the episode. This episode's mainly centered around Kirishima, or Red Riot, because that's his hero name. I didn't know what was going to happen going into this episode. I saw a couple spoilers on Twitter, as I usually do, because the internet fucking sucks. Mainly centered around Fat Gum and him being skinnier looking, which I don't know what that was about, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So the main thing I kind of just want to talk about in the video was just the character growth with Kirishima and the fact that I actually really liked it. I actually really liked the character growth that he got in this episode because it showed more about who he actually is and what he actually thinks and feels in most situations that have to involve him doing hero work. He wants to be a hero, but truth be told, he actually is completely terrified. And it shows, his backstory of the events that he went through before getting enrolled into UA. And for some reason, he had black hair. And that's not really important. I just thought I should mention it because, I don't know, he just looked kind of weird with the black hair. And it just didn't look right. Not to say that it looked bad, but just, I wasn't that much of a fan. Some people on Twitter seem to like it, but I wasn't that much of a fan. But yeah, the whole episode was just mainly centered around him and his character development, and like I said before, the events of what he went through before he got enrolled into UA, and like he had already explained before, but his whole inspiration for his hero name Red Riot was because of a hero named Crimson Riot. And he admired him for how he always, took charge and went straight into battles and just did what he needed to do as a hero. And Kirishima wanted to try to do the same thing with his quirk being, hardening, and he was be able to do the same thing. And the whole episode kind of revolves around a spear and a shield. Fat Gum would be typically the shield because of the way that his quirk works, fat absorption. He's able to take a lot of hits, but they're fighting against a guy who has a literal barrier and a guy that has ridiculously strong and fast punches. Kirishima, he uses his ultimate move, his unbreakable form, and he gets hit once by the guy who has really strong punches, and it breaks through his defenses. And so he's kind of freaking out, and he's getting really scared, and he's acting completely different than how he normally acts. And of course, this is all to make you, not really like seeing him like this. And that's how it was for me. I didn't really like seeing him be down on himself and not having any confidence, because he was all about the confidence. He was all about being manly and etc. and whatever the hell else he says. But he wasn't like that at all. He wasn't like that at all, and it seemed really weird to see him like that. But like I was mentioning before, we see a flashback of him, in the past. He had black hair, and he was trying to do basically the same thing as he's trying to do now. He was trying to act like a hero by stopping bullies in school, and it didn't work out because his hardening quirk hadn't improved, and it wasn't nearly as strong as it was as it is now, obviously. And it turns out him and Mina actually went to the same school. I thought that was interesting, but they went to the same school, and Mina was actually a lot more heroic like, and seeing her do stuff just so casually, it discouraged him, and he was still scared. Like he wasn't scared to go against the bullies, but there was a villain that was harassing a couple of the students, and Mina, even though she was scared, she went ahead and jumped in and did what she had to do in order to be able to save her friends. And even though Kirishima really wanted to do it as well, he didn't go because he just wasn't really scared, and he just didn't want to go and do it because he was terrified. And then he sees a video of Crimson Riot, Kirishima's like all-time favorite hero, the guy who inspired him the most. There's a video of him playing, and he explains that like even he is terrified of going in and doing hero work and jumping into the battle against these villains. Even he's terrified of doing that stuff, but he explains that there's something that he's even more terrified of, and it's the faces of those that he couldn't save. And so that inspires him to go in and do what he needs to do as a hero, which is to go and save people. And that inspires, obviously, Kirishima to go in and save Fat Gum, because the entire time Fat Gum is taking, punches and blows from the guy with the strong punches. I don't even really know what his name is. It doesn't really matter, because he'll probably disappear after this episode, so it doesn't matter. But he's taking all these attacks, and that's because he's building up energy to be able to get skinnier for some reason. But ultimately, he's building up the energy so that he can, cause a he's building up power so he can do a punch that's insanely powerful. And obviously Kirishima's, he jumps in, he takes a couple of punches, and then he causes an opening for Fat Gum to throw a full powered punch attack from the energy that he had built up. And the episode kind of just ends afterwards, and Kirishima did what he needed to do, and it was good character development for him, because even though he was scared, and even though he was terrified, and even though his ultimate form was broken through, that didn't matter in that moment, because he did what he wanted to do, which was to be a hero and and push through no matter what. And it was a good moment for him, and it's a good moment of character development for him, and I really liked it. I really liked this episode just because it showed more of who he was back in the day, and before he got into UA, and just how he was and how different he was, and how much he's improved since then. And I just really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's kind of it. I don't really want to keep this video going on for much longer, other than I really enjoyed it. I liked the character moments. I don't know if this is just me or if this is just actually the case, but there are times where sometimes character faces and animation look kind of weird looking. I don't know if that's just always been the case with My Hero Academia, or if it's just something about the animation in the episode or this season in particular, but I don't know, just sometimes characters, just certain moments look off in animation, and I don't know, it's sort of weird, but it's not that big of a deal. Other than that, I think the music was good, the performances of the voice actors were really good. I really liked this episode. It was insanely fun just see this character get development, because even though he's a fan favorite and people really like him, and I already really liked him as well before this episode kind of made me appreciate him a lot more, because it kind of made him a lot more grounded in reality, and made him a lot more realistic, especially for his age. And I really like that. I think that's the main reason why I really like that the most. It pretty much grounded Kirishima of who he was and who he is, and made him a lot more realistic. And I really like that. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I have really nothing else to add on top of the episode, other than just I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap up the video here. I'm not really feeling too well. I'm not because I'm sick or anything, but just because personal stuff kind of happened, and I'm not really feeling too hot. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video here. If you did enjoy it for whatever reason, be sure to leave a like. If you are new, subscribe for more videos of this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a better day than what I'm having. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.